Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is January 1st. Happy New Year's to everybody out there. And right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see the state of Hawaii back here. There's California. There goes our next storm system here. Another dynamic storm system on its way for California. We're going to have increased wave activity again. We're going to have some winds. We're going to have some mountain snows. And we're going to have some heavy rain probably at times. Some thunderstorm activity as a strong front moves all the way down. Basically the entire coast of California, all the way through Southern California. We're going to dive into some of those details here, and we're also going to be taking a look at the pattern change as we bring some much colder air into western portions of the USA over the next couple of weeks. So let's jump into things here. We're looking at the GFS hot off the presses here, and this is our next storm system back here. Again, the Hawaiian Islands there's California here. Put this into motion, and you can see the timing of this as we go through the day Tuesday. Going to be impacting Northern California, and of course sliding down through the Bay Area, Point Conception, Ventura County, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, San Diego, all going to get some precipitation out of this, and hopefully some nice mountain snow will occur as well. And you see that trough hang out for a bit, and then we turn our eyes off to the northwest as even some colder air arrives here as we go on in towards next weekend. And just how much moisture this system is going to have to work with, still a good question, and we'll be watching that over the next few days as well. But this definitely has some mountain snow potential also. And then we continue on into the extended forecast, and we continue with this troughing and this very cold air potential here for much of the western portion of the USA. So we'll be looking at those details and breaking things down as we get off into the future here and over the next few days. Now, taking a look at weather outlook into the new year for Los Angeles, you can see I'm talking about the next storm, coldest storm of the season so far. Some light to moderate rain, locally 1 to 2 inches across the higher terrain. Look at the snow levels coming down towards 4,500 feet. 20% chance of it lowering towards 4,000 feet, impacting I-5 Grapevine area by late Wednesday. And again, elevated to high surf continuing through the week. So yeah, here we go again, folks. We are definitely in an active storm period here for much of the state. And taking a look at Phoenix, Arizona, I'm just kind of showing you the pattern change. They're picking up on it as well, and you could get some lower snow levels here as we go towards the weekend also, and maybe some freezing temperatures out there as well. But just kind of showing you that the National Weather Service is definitely picking up on this pattern change also. Here's more rain here coming out for some of the coastal areas. You can see San Francisco, 1 to 1.5 inches here. When Tuesday through Thursday here, bulk of the rain moving through Tuesday evening into Wednesday, and you can see up and down the coastline some nice amounts, lesser amounts for the valleys, pretty typical, and then amounts picking back up here across some of the Sierra Nevada. We'll look at some of the totals here in a moment as well. Now, taking a look, I wanted to bring this up. Advisory and special weather statement headlines will be removed in 2024. So we're not going to go into too much detail into this just yet. I want to give some examples here first. So when the storm comes rolling in here in the next couple of days, we're going to start to look and just see how they change things up before we start to get into this too much. But apparently, like things like wind advisories and special weather statements for maybe stronger showers rolling through the area will be changed up. It'll be interesting to see just how they handle that. Now, taking a look at composite reflectivity on the high resolution rapid refresh. This is the 12Z run here. And what I'm going to show you here is the approaching frontal system as we go through the day tomorrow, rolling on the shoreline there. You can see some of the heavier rain probably embedded with this robust frontal system as it drives down across the Bay Area. This right here is a lot of this moderate and heavy rain is impacting the Bay Area and some of Northern California would be just about, what is this? What we were looking at about 9 p.m. here for tomorrow night. And you can see the frontal system here making its way off to the south and east, eventually swinging down towards Southern California here as we go through the day Wednesday morning. And you can see some continued shower activity here and some thunderstorm potential as we go on in through the next few days for much of the state. And here's the day 3 thunderstorm outlook here as well. Probably could extend it a little bit further inland here, but we've got some pretty chilly air loft, and the water off the coastline of California is pretty warm, so it's going to help with that convective available potential energy, or the lapse rate, or the difference between the temperatures at the surface and the temperatures aloft. It adds that instability to some of this frontal system. It's going to be moving down in some of the showers and the post-frontal air mass as well. Now, taking a look at the European, this is yesterday afternoon significant wave height. In fact, let's see if we have any updated information here and see if the 12Z has been running it, and it is. So let's take a look at that. Here we go, scrolling off into the future a little bit here, and you can see the next wave action here out over the Pacific Ocean here. We get a bit of a break here as we go through today and tonight for a lot of the state, but then we're going to pick that back up. As you can see, we start to scroll towards Tuesday afternoon on in through Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, and you can clearly see the increased wave activity once again here with this next storm. And then as we go off into the future here, we're going to have some additional systems trying to move in as well, and you can see that wave action continuing to be present here as we go on in towards the weekend also. And if we scroll a little bit further out, what that would be about Saturday night of this upcoming weekend. Yeah, so yeah, we're going to have some of this increased wave activity here as we go. And if that correlates with the high tides, you know how that can get. You guys saw what happened several days ago with some of that, some of the crazy video coming out on social media, people getting knocked down and swept away by some of the wave activity, people actually getting injured as well. So yeah, we might be going through some of that again, hopefully not quite as severe. However, now looking at the GFS, we're looking at 18,000 feet. I just want to show you the visual diagram of the colder air aloft. This is the next storm system here, and of course there's California and Hawaii there. So we put it into motion, and you can see that bulk of cold air just engulf the state here by the time we get in towards Wednesday afternoon here, and then that kind of eventually swings through as we go through the day Thursday. But then look what's coming off into the extended. Look at that bowling ball here of cold air really move down the west coast here. Yeah, and we're going to get a pretty good pattern change, and we're probably going to get multiple rounds of some cooler air moving down out of the northwest and the north here as we go through the extended forecast. So definitely fun and interesting weather to be watching here as we go towards mid-January. And this is what I've been mentioning the last few days also. This is the sea surface temperature anomaly, clearly warmer than normal, and that's going to help with some of the instability for any storms that do develop and approach the coastline here. It's going to give them a little bit more punch, a little bit heavier precip, and maybe some thunderstorm activity. And this is the NAM 3 cam. This is a North American model. Again, this is this morning's run. We're looking at surface-based CAPE, convective available potential energy. So this basically tells you what kind of thunderstorm fuel is in the atmosphere. And if we scroll ahead here, internet connection is a little bit slow this morning, and it's kind of like that out here in Hawaii. But anyway, you can see that instability associated with the frontal system as it slides down the coastline as we go through Wednesday morning there. So yeah, we could have some thunderstorm potential with this next storm as well. Now, taking a look at the European, let's see what it has to say about things. This is last night's run. In fact, let me update this because we probably have 12Z data in here as of now. And do we? We do. So let's take a look at that. You can see this is our next storm system out here, that cold air, that energy. We're getting some of that development here rolling towards the coastline. Let me scroll off ahead here a little bit. Sorry, you guys have to bear with me there, but let's let it update here for a second. Okay, there we go. We're clicking one at a time. But as we go on in through Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night, you can see some of that heavier precip across Northern California, the Bay Area, and that eventually propagates down towards Southern California here. And if it will update, there we go. And look at some of those precipitation rates across some of the Sierra Nevada here as well. Not bad. We definitely need it. We're well below average for this time of year. Actually for the last month or two, we've been well below average here really since Hurricane Hillary moved up across the area in the summertime. A lot of the interior of California and Nevada has been pretty dry since. So this is definitely going to be some beneficial rainfall, especially if these amounts verify across some of the Sierra Nevada. Now we'll kick off that because that seems to be taking its sweet time. But here's the national blend of models. This is total snow in inches. And this is also this morning's run. This takes into account multiple models here, so we kind of get a good picture of what's to be expected. Here we go, scrolling on in through Wednesday morning, and look at some of that snow falling here as we go on into very late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning across the Sierra Nevada. So not bad amount showing up here. We could be getting over, what is that? Maybe up over 8 inches of snowfall for some areas across the Sierra Nevada. And there's potentially more coming as well. Again, we have that cooler system. It's going to be dropping down to the northwest here as we go through the weekend here also. So yeah, we have a chance here to really build up some of that snowpack with this pattern change and some of that cooler air making its way into the area. Now, taking a look at total precipitation in inches on the national blend of models, here goes our frontal system. You'll see that start to pile up across Northern California here as we go through Tuesday during the day and the afternoon hours, and you can see it sweep down towards Southern California there as well. Some pretty impressive amounts across the Sierra Nevada and some of the coastal ranges all the way up through Northern California. And then we scroll off into the future, and you can see the additional systems potentially adding to those precipitation totals as we go off into the future here. So yeah, winter is finally going to arrive here for for actually the entire state of California and much of the western USA as well. well. Still, we have to nail down some of the details here. Things could trend up or down as far as precipitation amounts and snowfall amounts, of course. Now, taking a look at daily 2-meter minimum temperatures here. So as I scroll ahead to future, you can see things are going to get pretty chilly here. Look at, by the time we get to Monday, January 8th, some of these chilly overnight lows across the Sierra Nevada and Nevada, Utah, portions of northern Arizona really cooling down. Southern California as well. Winter definitely going to be arriving here as we go towards mid-January. And looking at winds as well, we got 80-meter wind speed showed here. And I'm going to scroll ahead and you'll see that frontal system approaching Northern California. You can see it out there. We might get some wind advisory level winds out here, but we'll see how the National Weather Service wants to frame that with the changes incoming. And then you can see the frontal system driving down. There's going to be some thunderstorm activity, some gusty, erratic winds with that front as it moves all the way down. You can see the wind shift to the northwest here, and watch when that starts to come across the higher terrain. You can really see it ramping up here as we go on in through Wednesday afternoon across some of the higher terrain of Southern California, down into Baja, Tehachapi out there. Could be getting some big winds out of the northwest also. And this is the 6 to 10 day precipitation probability outlook. You can clearly see the bullseye here across much of the southwest. This goes through January 10th. Here's the 8 to 14 day, continuing that above average signal here all the way through mid-January. And look at this 8 to 14 day temperature probability outlook. You can clearly see a winter's arrival here as we go through mid-January coming up here. So yeah, nice signal there. And this is the average temperature departure from average here. This is the entire month now, and you can clearly see the west has been above average. We are going to flip the switch on that for the next few weeks, definitely coming up. So big pattern change incoming here. And yeah, so I should be back in 2 days, so I'll be able to get back home and, get my briefings on the computer. It's always a little bit easier to do it at home. Obviously, I've got a pretty good setup there compared to just running things on a tablet here, but hopefully you guys are still getting enough information and know what's coming out of these videos. We'll do this again tomorrow. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I will talk to you guys then.